Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight on the news, the latest on the fallout from that bombshell Supreme Court leak on abortion rights. Plus, a piece of history lands here in Lincoln.
A whole world of famous people got their first airplane ride on a Ford Tri-Motor.
But first tonight, the legal saga takes another turn in the Herbster Slama case. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Rod Fowler. Megan Conway has the night off. Today, gubernatorial candidate Charles Herbster was scheduled to appear at the Johnson County Courthouse, but he didn't. So what's going on? Channel 8's Ariana Martinez joins us now with more. Ariana?
Yes, more legal documents have been filed, but Charles Herbster or Julie Slama have yet to appear in a court for a statement under oath. We dove into the court documents to see why things might have been paused today. Both parties are supposed to have 14 days notice before a deposition. Slama's attorneys acknowledged they only gave 11 days advance for the deposition. Slama's team did receive a list of conditions for the deposition from Herbster's attorneys, but Slama's attorneys claim they never received notice of conflict about the deposition date. Ultimately, nobody showed up for the deposition, originally scheduled for Friday morning at 9, and a new court date has been set for early June. And tonight on the news at 6, I explain what a quash order is and what evidence Herbster's team plans to present in court.
All right, Ariana Martinez will talk to you at 6 o'clock. Nebraskans for medical marijuana are making a final push to get cannabis legalized here in the state. After missing out on the 2020 ballot, the group is hoping to collect enough signatures to get it onto this November's ballot. Volunteers across the state are needed to help collect around 87,000 signatures, and so far, they've collected around 25,000.
We are one of the only states left in this country that treats patients like criminals and does not have a safe and effective legal cannabis system in our state for people who are sick and suffering to work with their doctors and have access.
There are two petitions, one to make medical marijuana legal, the other to allow for the growing of it by private entities. Collected signatures need to be handed in to the state by July 7th. Did you know that May is Renewable Fuels Month here in Nebraska, and the Nebraska Corn Board is getting the word out about the benefits of renewable fuels?
Consumers that own vehicles 2001 and newer can utilize E15 in those vehicles. Economics plays into account right away from a financial perspective and providing that cheaper gas, but yet higher quality. And the other beneficial part is the cleaner air that it provides.
According to the Corn Board, higher ethanol blended gas can reduce greenhouse emissions by up to 46%, and they say the price is cheaper. For instance, at U-Stop locations that have E15 gas, it's 5 cents cheaper than the regular 10% blended gas. Tonight, Democrats on Capitol Hill, they are moving quickly after that leaked Supreme Court opinion. They hope to have a bill next week protecting abortion rights, but it doesn't look like Democrats will have the 60 votes needed for this to pass. Here's the latest from ABC's Alex Brichet.
Today, with the Supreme Court seemingly poised to overturn the Roe v. Wade decision, Democrats are scrambling to find ways to protect women's access to abortion. Fencing now surrounding the court over concerns of potential violence. On Capitol Hill, Senate Democrats making their first push with an upcoming vote on legislation that would secure abortion access for millions.
Next week's vote will be one of the most important we take, not only this session, but in this century. And Republicans will not be able to hide from the horror they've unleashed on America.
That bill, called the Women's Health Protection Act of 2022, also outlaws requirements some states have implemented to try to limit abortion care. But the vote on this is almost certain to fail. Only 2 Republican senators support abortion rights, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Both Collins and Murkowski say they would back a bill protecting a woman's right to an abortion, but Collins insists she won't support the Democratic bill, telling CNN she opposes it because it goes beyond the abortion rights protections established under Roe v. Wade. The Biden administration also promising a fight, but has not offered specifics.
We are looking at a broad range of options.
Some Republican-led states are rushing to put their own rules in place before the Supreme Court ruling. GOP lawmakers in Louisiana advanced a bill to classify abortions as homicide. And former Vice President Mike Pence in South Carolina fundraising off the news of the leak.
We're about to enter an era a renewal of the sanctity of life. So help us God.
The latest CDC data from 2019 shows black women had the highest rate of abortions per 1,000, followed by Hispanic women. The CDC also found that 60% of women seeking an abortion were already mothers. We're also seeing some states rush to become a refuge for women seeking abortions. In Connecticut, for instance, the Democratic governor there has signed a bill that would protect patients traveling from states that have heavily restricted abortions. Alex Brachet, ABC News, Washington.
And now to the latest on Ukraine and what intelligence the U.S. is providing to their military. Today we're learning the U.S. gave Ukraine information that helped them sink that flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet last month. Remember that? It was a huge loss and an embarrassment for Russia. The Pentagon saying this about the intelligence we're giving to Ukraine.
We provide them what we believe to be relevant and timely information about Russian units that will allow them to adjust and execute their self-defense to the best of their ability.
The Pentagon insisting the U.S. isn't providing intelligence on the location of senior Russian military leaders. Well, today you can grab a pint of beer here in Lincoln and show support for Ukraine. It's happening at both Zipline Brewing locations here in the capital city. They created a beer for those impacted by the war there. It's called the Safe Harbor Pale Ale. And for every pint sold, $1 will be donated to pay for hotel rooms in Poland for refugee families. The special beer was unveiled earlier today. UNL is holding a spring art sales today and tomorrow. It's put on by the UNL Clay Club and UNL Photo Club. You can find ceramic pottery and sculptures as well as artwork, all made by students. It's being held in the Richards Hall. It goes until 6 tonight and tomorrow from 9 to 6 p.m. All right, what do you say? We get to your first forecast on this Friday night. A lot of clouds again today, John. Going to be clearing up anytime soon?
Probably not soon. Later on tonight, yes. I thought within the next hour or two, at least my thought was yesterday, we'd see probably by 5, 6, 7 o'clock some clearing taking place, and it's just been stubborn to do so, and it may take longer than that with some of these low clouds hanging around. You can see the clouds out as we take a live look here from the station to the northwest. We at least got everything green. Everything's starting to grow pretty quickly after all the rain from the last couple of days. Satellite imagery showing you how we've got a lot of clouds still overhead. Now you get back into southwestern Seward County, back into Saline County, and we're likely seeing the sun popping out there. So we may still see some before sunsets this evening, which by the way is close. I believe it's at 8:29 this evening. Temperatures running warmer than yesterday, so that's some good news for sure. Not quite to our normal levels, which is 71 degrees, but we've made it up to 64 degrees this afternoon in Lincoln, and that's the current temperature. It's 64 right now in Beatrice, but warmer out towards Kearney and Grand Island where you've seen some sunshine. It's currently in the low 70s in Kearney. Now for the rest of this evening, we'll keep cloudy skies at 6. Clouds may start to break a bit by 8 o'clock, and then we'll start to see things clearing as we go through the overnight hours. What does that mean for the weekend? And there is a chance for some rain in the weekend forecast, but we'll detail when that is and see if it impacts some of your plans. That's coming up in my Storm Alert Team forecast.
All right, thank you, John. Lincoln has a very old guest in town for a limited time that you may want to meet. Channel 8's Nathan Grieve was able to see it and has more information for all of us.
When you think of an early 1900s Ford, you're probably thinking of this one, but this story is about the Tin Goose, not the Tin Lizzie, and what a story it is.
A whole world of famous people got their first airplane ride on a Ford Tri-Motor. Franklin Roosevelt chartered one when he was running for governor in New York to become the first politician to campaign by air. They captured John Dillinger in Arizona, chartered a Tri-Motor to fly him back to Chicago to become the first criminal to be extradited by air.
We can also thank this humble 10-seater for everything we associate with air travel today. The airports, the luggage, the basic amenities of flight, and basic is a good description. Flying this thing is a very old school, hands-on process.
When it's windy, it's kind of a little bit like a leaf in the breeze, but you can keep it steady, but the pilot's working a lot harder. You know, when it's calm, you just sort of sit there and fly it. But I had somebody tell me one day the airplane was going along straight and level. He says, it's like watching a duck on water.
Now, if you think you've seen something like this before, you're right, because Ross Aviation plays host to old aircraft like this almost every year.
We really like to support the general aviation community, and this is a great way to get out and help with the involvement and get the young aviators to come out and see the cool history.
This is history you can see, touch, and fly in if you like. When's the last time you could do that at the museum? Reporting in Lincoln, Nathan Grieve, Channel 8 News.
Now, if you want to see the plane or ride in it, you can this weekend. For more information on the when, where, how, ticket prices, click on this story on klkntv.com. And coming up, the latest on the Dave Chappelle attack. The charges his attacker is facing may surprise you. That in your full forecast after the break.
Fact. Jim Pillen voted for critical race theory. Pillen's vote approved a
More now on that attack on comedian Dave Chappelle during a performance out in California, and the latest on the man who jumped up on stage. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
The man seen here tackling comedian Dave Chappelle on stage at the Hollywood Bowl will not face felony charges. Isaiah Lee was originally being held on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities say he was carrying this replica gun with a knife blade inside of his bag, but law enforcement sources telling ABC News it wasn't used in the attack. According to this criminal complaint, the suspect now charged with multiple misdemeanors.
My office has filed charges alleging battery, possession of a weapon with the intent to assault, and charges relating to interfering with a performance. My office takes protecting public safety extremely seriously, and we are going to vigorously prosecute this case.
This video shows the suspect jumping on stage and attacking Chappelle in the middle of his set. He then continues to run behind the screen, where he was swarmed by the venue security. Chappelle telling the crowd the suspect was being stomped.
North Hollyland Avenue. FD is also responding. The suspect was being held down near Orchestra Hall, advises to enter off of Gate X.
EMS taking the attacker to the hospital for his injuries.
Kevin Hart!
Fellow comedian Kevin Hart on Jimmy Kimmel Live Thursday night, sharing his thoughts on what happened.
Somebody ran on stage and got their whooped.
Hart also commended Chappelle for finishing his show.
Dave went back after that and finished doing the show.
Yeah.
Didn't let that thing be a big thing. I think it's time to get back to a place of respect for your live entertainer.
And it's still unclear how that suspect made it past security with that weapon. He's being held on a $30,000 bond. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Dessauer.
Cloudy skies just sticking around the area. Now, some of you are seeing some sunshine, and where we're seeing the sun, temperatures are starting to warm. So you head back into western and southwestern portions of Seward County and Saline County, we're seeing some sunshine. Also down towards Jefferson County, we're seeing some sunshine popping out. Has not been the case as we go looking live from Lincoln. This is out towards Grand Island right now. We are seeing some clouds beginning to break out there, some sunshine coming through. We can see some shadows coming off of the semi-trucks as they're going down I-80. Take you to a live look from Beatrice right now. A few breaks in the clouds here or there. That trend will likely continue on for the next several hours. And then as we take a live look right now from Allo Communications, not so much the case right now in Lincoln, as we again are just stuck under these clouds. Maybe way out in the distance, we're starting to see some breaks down along the horizon. As we go through the evening, clouds should begin to diminish. Probably hang on to some very low clouds, or at least a thin layer for a period of time. Probably after about midnight, we'll see our skies begin to clear. Temperature-wise, we're sitting at 64 in Lincoln. It's 64 in Beatrice and 64 in Friend. Hebron, a little warmer at 67. It's 67 in Grand Island and Kearney. The warm location coming in at 71 degrees. For the rest of this evening, we'll see our temperatures dropping from the 60s through the 50s. It's going to be a mild start tomorrow morning with lows down into the low 50s as winds begin to increase a little bit out of the southeast. 5 to 10 miles per hour. A low of 51 degrees is what I'm forecasting in Lincoln. Now we're going to start with some sunshine tomorrow morning. Stormcast, I think, is a little quick in moving clouds in, but we'll see mostly sunny skies to start the day. Skies become partly to mostly cloudy by late afternoon and in towards the evening. But notice our temperatures start warming up as we head through the afternoon. We should make it up to 75 degrees in Lincoln, 75 in Beatrice, 74 in Seward, maybe a couple more clouds out towards Grand Island, Hastings, and York, so lower to mid 70s for you. Winds will be out of the southeast, 8 to 18, and we'll have some gusts to 30 miles per hour. So I think this weekend looks fantastic, especially Saturday, to go out and do a little golfing. So at Highlands Golf Course, we will see our temperatures climbing up into the upper 60s by 1 o'clock and lower 70s by afternoon. Now, if you've got an early morning tee time, maybe a little on the cool side, not terribly bad though, and we will stay rain-free through the day on Saturday. Also, if you want to head out to the Huskers softball game tomorrow afternoon against the Hoosiers, 73 degrees at 4 o'clock, 75 at 5, and 75 by 6. Yeah, the winds will be blowing those sustained out of the southeast, 20 miles per hour with those gusts to 30 miles per hour at times. Now, Saturday night, we'll watch thunderstorms develop out in the western part of the state. This line will move off to the east overnight, and that will bring us a chance for rain as we go through the overnight hours into Sunday morning. So the start to Mother's Day will likely be on the wet side. But as we go through late morning, early afternoon, we'll likely see things drying out. Now, I can't rule out the chance for a spotty shower through the day because the warm front begins to lift through the area. In fact, you'll notice some showers out in the central part of the state beginning to develop, and that brings in some warmer and more humid air coming our way for early next week. Forecasting a high of 90 degrees on Monday. Warm and humid pretty much all day next or every day next week. 88 degrees on Tuesday. An isolated shower, a thunderstorm possible on Wednesday. Same story again on Thursday. Maybe a slightly better chance for some thunderstorms on Friday, and more scattered showers and thunderstorms around the area for next Saturday. I've been mentioning the last couple of days. If you're a storm chaser, you're going to like, I think, Wednesday and Thursday next week out in the far western part of the state, out in the Panhandle, northwest Kansas, southeast Wyoming, and eastern Colorado as things start to ramp up. We're turning definitely into a summer-like pattern for next week.
Looks like it. All right. Thank you so much, John. Some business news now. After yesterday's big sell-off on Wall Street, not too bad today. The Dow was down about 100 points. Here's more on that and other business headlines.
Inflation worries on Wall Street sent stocks plunging on Thursday. The S&P 500 down 3.5%, NASDAQ falling 5%, their biggest losses in nearly 2 years. The Dow Jones Industrials was off about 3%, more than 1,000 points on Thursday. Investors are nervous that interest rates the Federal Reserve is using to battle rising prices will also derail the economy. Mortgage rates rising again. The key 30-year loan now up to 5.2%, its highest level since 2009. The average 15-year loan now 4.5%. The increases anticipating the Fed's announcement this week of a half-point interest rate hike. It's amid indications of more rate increases to come as the nation's central bank battles rampant inflation. When it comes to higher postage rates, get used to it. That's the message from the nation's Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, saying he'll lobby for raising prices on stamps until the U.S. Postal Service can pay for itself. The agency reporting a $1.7 billion loss the last quarter. Pending final approval, a first-class Forever stamp will cost 60 cents, 2 cents more, starting in July. And finally, need a job? Try applying at a small business. A Goldman Sachs survey of 1,100 firms that are hiring finds 90% having trouble recruiting qualified workers. Despite a blazing U.S. job market, many small companies say they're struggling to compete with larger employers over pay and benefits. And here's a look at Wall Street today. The Dow down about 99 points. The NASDAQ lost 173. Here a look at some of your local numbers. We'll be right back. Finally tonight, a theater opens its doors to the dogs, turning a night at the opera into a guide dog training session. Jeremy Roth has tonight's. Take a look at this.
A night at the opera. A whimsical escape of fantasy and frivolity. But this opera has gone to the dogs. But don't worry, they're supposed to be there. Opera Colorado teamed up with Guide Dogs for the Blind to host a special puppy training session at a tech rehearsal for their production of the musical Carmen. Roughly a dozen guide dogs and their handlers enjoyed the show, like 11-month-old Lourdes and her trainer, who's also named Carmen.
they get excited, and we need them to be calm.
This highly stimulating environment provided a perfect opportunity to test the pup's abilities to follow commands when distracted and, enjoy a little culture while they're at it. Here's a dog story that isn't even a dog story. Let me explain. A wild coyote pup found its way into a Massachusetts home after a family mistook it for a lost dog and took it home. Realizing their mistake, the family contacted the New England Wildlife Center, which plans to pair up the pup with another baby coyote rescued in Rhode Island. The center says the pair will be raised as foster siblings. And from newly found fur babies to a newly famous Gerber baby, Oklahoma's Issa Slish has been named the new Gerber spokesbaby after winning an annual photo contest put on by the company. She's the first Gerber baby to be born with a limb difference. The company says it hopes to bring more awareness for limb differences and create greater inclusion for kids like Issa. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Very beautiful baby right there. And let's get a final check of your weather. A lot of you getting ready for the weekend. And John, how's it look?
Yeah, not looking too bad. This evening, it's going to take a little while. We are starting to see some sunshine. In fact, let me show you the live view from Beatrice. And we are seeing more clouds breaking down there. Unfortunately, that's just not the case right now in the Lincoln area. But later on this evening, before the sun sets, I do think we will see a little sunshine, at least in the capital city. Temperatures remaining in the 60s to low 70s right now. As we go through the rest of the evening, we'll see 65 at 6, 63 at 8, 59 degrees by 10, with low temperatures only dropping down into the low 50s tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you, John, and thank you for joining us. World News is coming up next with David Muir, and we'll see you back here for more news, weather, and sports at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
At Comfort Made Mattress Factory, we build each mattress specifically for you right here in our locally owned store. We can even make his side different than hers, backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee.
Closed captioning on Channel